Hi, welcome to Fiberchats. My name is Irina. I'm the host here. My guest today comes originally from El Salvador and now lives in Canada. Claudia Quintanilla. Did I pronounce it right?
That's good. That's good. Yes.
Welcome to my channel.
Thanks, Irene. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, tell me a little bit about how it all started. Like, when did you start crafting?
Wow, crafting has been a big part of my life since I was a very tiny girl. Uh, for two reasons. One is my mother, her sisters, they grew up in an orphan house because their mother was schizophrenic and their father couldn't take care of them anymore. So
Right.
they have to take the girls to this like orphan house run by nuns, Catholic nuns. So the girls were sent there. And in this place, for the girls to have to pay their way, they have to craft. So they have to do a lot of embroidery, a lot of crochet, and a lot of cross stitch. So they used to make like these big blankets and these big table covers for really rich people. Then good support the place where they live. So it's kind of sad, but it's the way that they're somehow they learn and they keep the craft together and somehow they keep crafting all their life. So it was a skill that they learned there. And I don't think was so happy for the girls to be there. It's a little sad for me when I hear the history because my mom told me that she didn't have a name there. She had a number. They called her number 67 or something. I don't remember exactly the number, but it was a difficult life for them. But anyways, they came out with all of this craft
Skills.
capacity, skills.
Yeah.
And so I always started making something. And since I'm like 2 or 3 years old, I saw my mother doing these crochet blankets for her friends, these big crochet blankets because her friends were going to get married. And so I really want to do it. So I start there doing just like chain stitch, like a 3, 4, 5, that age. And just good see and fake that I was doing it. I think I was faking it because like I just really want to do it as fast as she did. So that was big part of where everything started because I see them doing it. But then I move on to live with my grandparents, and they really were more like my parents than my mother. And they sent me to this Catholic school for girls run by nuns again. And when I was like 11 years old, I meet a nun. Her name was Sor Judith, and she was like past 80. She was a nun in retirement.
Mhm.
She had been a physics professor, but she didn't have any more way to teach because she was older. So she used to sit in a little rocking chair and look at us play. And I see her knitting, and I was like so attracted to her and to what she was doing. So I went and I approached her and I said, Sir Judith, would you teach me to knit? But Sir Judith wasn't that kind of person who was really happy person. And she was like, okay, you can learn, but you're just going to have to sit here, but you cannot speak. I said, well, okay. I came with my big long needles and I sit next to her, and eventually she spoke to me and I learned from her. So since I'm 11, I was like crazy about knitting. I figured that I could make things and they look beautiful and everybody else like it. So I was like, oh, everybody like my taste and color or my combinations. And so that is where I start to knit uh, from the nuns and then other crafts from my aunts and my mom.
I mean, was there ever time in your life when you weren't a crafter, or is it like always was something that was bringing you joy?
I love fashion. I think I since I was a tiny girl, I make up things like I from small little things like I could take like little pieces of paper and I could burn them and then I could glue them into a piece of wood to hang them somewhere. And I have a very vivid memory of something that I did and was really, I don't know, intense. My aunt had a baby. It's just this beautiful little girl. And I was so excited. And in that times was more about what we're gonna make for people, not what we're gonna buy for people.
Right.
So, but I have no like a big account, and I don't, I didn't know where to go and get the stuff. But I saw my curtains in my room, and they were pink, and they have a lot of fluff. So I took the curtains out, I borrow my grandmother machine. She have this old singer that you have to pedal on it. And I make a dress. And she looked fantastic. I mean, I thought she looked fantastic, but I went all over the neighborhood with the stroller and my baby cousin with the dress that I have made. So, no, I've been making things since I remember. I don't think things that were like, was like a hobby, because I always was reminded by my grandparents that I have to go to school, and school was really important. But my heart always was in making things. That was made me the happiest.
Right.
But
well, at what point did you decide to turn it into career?
Oh, it didn't happen. Wasn't that voluntarily? I came to Canada from El Salvador because we have a very bad war. And I came here at 21, and I came to Canada pregnant with my son and alone. I was 21. And I started to work here doing any kind of jobs. And I thought I have to go back to school because otherwise I just don't gonna be doing anything in my life. If I don't gonna go to school, I better go back home. And so, but I was a single parent. So I applied to school and I started an undergrad in UFT. Then I went and I did a master in Western University in London. And then I started a PhD. But by then I have divorced. I have divorced. I have a second marriage already, and I have a daughter. And she was 3 years old. And I was starting my PhD, but she had chronic illness, and I have to stay home with her.
Right.
So, and that was very stressing. I developed a lot of anxiety. I didn't know what to do. So one day I passed in front of a knitting store, and I just went there and buy a lot of stuff, and then came back home and I started to knit again, like without really reason, like just knitting. And I figured it out. Oh my God, this made me feel good, and whatever I made was like nice. I like how my stuff was looking. And then I said, oh wow, I can never find a hat that I really like. And I started to make hats that I really like. And so then, since then, I never stopped to knit every day. And it's just like, it's like an addiction.
Tell me about opening the store.
That's when the store came, because I was like knitting all the time, but I was really like just at home all the time. And I really want to socialize. I really want to be out of the house. I really want to be sharing the knitting with people. And I was very lonely, although I've been here in that point. I've been here in Canada for almost 20 years. As an immigrant, it's really hard to incorporate yourself to anything. I mean, it's you there, but nobody know you. So I thought maybe if I have a knitting store and I'm really doing what I like to do, I can sit there and knit. And didn't end it like that, okay? Nothing of my plans happened. Having a knitting store is not sit and knit there. It's a lot of work. But I opened the store and I love some things, and I figured out that it wasn't about sitting and knitting. That was a lot of more work than just sitting and knitting. But that's how I opened the store.
Well, you know what? I like that because all of us, like every time I talk to store owners, they say, like everybody thinks, oh, you're going to open the store and you're going to have all the yarn that you love and you're just going to sit there and knit and people going to come by and admire your knitting. And it's never like that. And the yarn that you buy that you think is going to sell doesn't sell. And the ones that you don't expect to sell sells the most. What did you learn, like as a store owner, as a businesswoman? What did you learn along the way having that store?
Okay, it's a couple of things that have been very, very important for me, Irene. That's a good question because it's something that really, it's a couple of things that really have fulfilled my life. If it wasn't the store, I wouldn't be Claudia for anybody here except for my family. the store have given me a lot, maybe no economically, but have given me a lot as a human within this community. You see, I have a couple of things really funny happening to me. Before I used to go out, nobody would know me. I was one person in this like super big city, and now I go to the supermarket and people go, "Bye, Claudia. Hi, Claudia." I go to the bookstore and the same. But one day I went to the hospital to get my records, and they wouldn't give me my records because I forgot my ID. And I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to go home and come back." And I was not very happy. But somebody in the very back of the office said, "I bashed for her. Her name is Claudia. She owned a knitting store." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm here, somebody in Canada, somebody that I didn't ever see." The
Right.
person never came out in a hospital, and then like a lot of people just say, "I bashed for her." It was changed my life.
Right.
Changed my feeling within this country, and that's been very important. That's one of the best things that the knitting store have given me, to own a knitting store.
Yeah.
And another thing that the store have given me is, and it's again related, is that I've been able to see generation of people already. Like, I have this guy coming to my store, really handsome, and I just opened the store. This is like 11 years ago. He's really handsome and really animated, and he wanted me to make him help him to get a gift for his girlfriend. And I was so taken by it, and I wrapped the gift and everything. And then he came back and he said to me that he had married to his girlfriend. And then he came back with the girlfriend. But then he came back with the pregnant girlfriend. And then he came back with the baby with the girlfriend. And then he came back with his mother. And then he came back with his grandmother. And then it's like, oh my God, I know all of this generation now. And it's very fulfilling. That's for me very important.
Well, right now it's a very exciting place in your life. You are about to release the second book that you wrote called Making Memories. Tell me about how the idea of this book was born. Why did you decide to write this book?
It's a little sweet and sour. I started the book the day that my mother, she was really my grandmother, but she really was my mother. She passed away in April. April the 2020 was the pandemic first year. And so they called me and they told me that she's dead. And I was in such a big shock. I feel like sick, my stomach hurt, and I feel immediately that I have to go there. I have to go to El Salvador. But the airport here in Toronto was closed.
Right.
So I feel very trapped. I didn't have so much. I had an intense pain that I could bend down with like holding my stomach and feeling how I going to deal with this, It's very hard. I mean, you want to be with your family. I wish to have been with her before she died. And not to say I want to be for her funeral. But the airport was closed, wasn't any way to go there. So few days after, I started to knit for children. And in about 8 months, I finished all the baby sweaters that were in the book. Actually, there were more. I have 24 in the book, but actually I did like about 36.
Right.
And the idea that I have 4 or 5 little projects going keep me so occupied and keep me thinking and putting my pay away, or making it more productive was really good. And all the time I was knitting something, I was thinking, oh, one of these days I'm gonna be a grandmother. What I could put in a child and it's gonna be my grandchild. So I did it that way, thinking what a little kid that I'm gonna love so much is gonna need to wear. So that's how I start. And then I made the decision to sew everything that is going to be in the book. And then I finally was able to go to my country and I meet my aunts. And my aunts saw almost 95% of the clothes that is shown in the book. And that was really good because we meet and we talk about it, and it was really, I don't know, go back to the past and embrace these ladies and hear their histories about the orphan house and about how their life was there. It was really good.
Oh, if people buy this book, how much of you will they sense in that book? Is that just a book of patterns, so there are stories going along with the patterns?
Well, it's a little histories in the book. I talk a little bit about the process to do a book, because to do a book is not just Claudia came and did a book. Claudia didn't came and did a book alone. I mean, it's a lot of people involved in the process. First, I think is the people who teach you how to do this, like some who did, or like my aunts or my mother, all of these people who let you craft. And that's big part of it. It's the memories that you have of how you learn this and the skill that you learn. Then I have a lot of people needing the stuff again, like, and then Lane Magazine was really like involved too. Like Jonah was fantastic, and Sydney, they were really good to me over the process of doing the book. And then I have an editor, Terry, she's fantastic, checking and making all of the patterns make sense. And it's a big process. So I talk about the process because I think you have to have a little bit of, you have to honor these people.
Right.
It's not like Claudia can say, this is my book and I did 100%. No, it's a book done by a community somehow. And the book somehow is a result of what people been asking me too, because in the store I always was having my own knitting, and people would say, oh, when you going to have that pattern? And I'm like, I'm not doing a pattern. Oh, but we really like how you dress. We like how it look on you. So that's how it started, no? So I talk a little bit in the book about that. And then I talk about each garment or each sweater, what they were inspired on. Most of them, they were inspiring memories that I have from my childhood, or maybe like an architecture building that I have seen, or things like that. Like my favorite pattern in the book, and maybe I'm getting too much ahead, is called Cathedral. And it's like, remind me to a cathedral in Europe and things like that. It's a little bit of talking in the book.
Right.
Not much, but it's a little bit of it.
Was it difficult for you to decide which patterns are going to be part of the book?
Yeah, but some of the decisions that were made by the magazine too, like Lane plays a role. I think they have more experience than I, and they're chosen. I mean, and I tend to do a lot of girl stuff. I tend to be very girly. So a lot of the girly stuff were like, okay, you have too much girl stuff. Perhaps you want to bring more of the boy stuff, and or more like that the two genders can wear the things, like more like inclusive. So that was, I mean, I have no problem in having a boy with a pink sweater. I mean, I think they look fantastic. Right. But I guess we have to make it more even, less embroidery and all of them, and more like
or unisex.
Yes.
Well, when you were writing this book, how, is it difficult to write the patterns for them, because the book limits you in the amount of space and amount of information you can put there? Is it difficult for you to write a pattern for the book versus just publishing a pattern in general?
Wow. First of all, you need an editor. I have two editors, like doing the patterns, doing like it's a lot of people. Then Lane Magazine would say it's too much, you have to cut here and there. Yes, it's different. I think it's required way more discipline, and it's seen by a lot of people, right. Not just you. So yeah, it's more demanding, and you have to limit the quantity of things that you can explain in the book. I don't know, like you cannot have so much of these charts, because you cannot do like 3 or 4 charts. You have to have one chart that ain't gonna be good for all the sizes. And so yes, you have to accommodate the patterns to that, because okay, I did the book in 2020 and the book is just gonna be published in 2023.
Right.
It went through a lot of polishing, a lot of like back and forth, and yeah. During, if I publish a pattern by myself, I mean, still I have an editor, I still work on trying to get people to knit all the sizes and all of these things. But with the baby book was more difficult.
And this book is for also like has different sizes in it, right?
Yeah, it went for 3 months to like 10, 11.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we were thinking we should include teenagers, but I kind of say no, because I don't think teenagers are going to be happy having a sweater coming out from a baby book. So we holding the teenager part for the next
right. Book 2, book 3. Can you show us some of the things that went into the book? Do you have any samples?
Yes, I have some example. I'm going to show you first because I find that, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if your viewers are totally into baby stuff, but I did 4 or 5 books, 4 or 5 patterns in the book, then they're adult too. So if you go to my Ravelry, they're there. Some of them, they're free. So check them out.
Yeah, and I'll put that information in the description of this video. So if you guys want to go check the Ravelry and see some of the patterns.
Okay, this is one of my favorite ones, and I did this pattern in 2018 for adults. It was going to be for Lane Magazine, but Lane Magazine happened to close for a year. So I ended publishing that by myself, and it's called Lana, and it's here.
It's so precious.
It's for adults too. It's super cute for adults. It's very simple to make. The only thing that is like a little bit complicated, but not too complicated, is this thing. Then I made this ribbon there.
Yeah.
And this one is a top down and have some short rods in here. So it's shaped really good, and it's super good in adults, actually.
Yeah, I would totally wear that.
And it's called lanita. Lana in Spanish means wool. But this is called lanita because it's for a little one. If it was for an adult, it would be called lana. So, and this is made with a fingering and mohair. I don't know if I were going to make it, I would make sure that the child is not allergic to the mohair. Maybe just one decay would be better than this. But anyways, this is Lana. As you see, this is a color that I really like. And now another one with a color that I really like, and it's pretty similar color. This one is called Wheat. And this one is for adults too. This cardigan, I did it for adults in red, and it done really well. People really like it. I wish that I can wear it, but this one is too tiny for me. This is Madeline Tash Decay. And easy. It's a super easy knit. And again, I start in the top, few short rods in the back, and very simple. I think children knit have to be simple because, you know, you want to do it quick. They may lost. Now surprise. Don't be too surprised about the color, okay?
I love that.
And this one is like a little, well, you can use it as a blouse. This one, I don't have it for adults, but we're going to make it for adults. You can use it as a pullover, or you can use it as a top.
Right.
This one, I love the colors. It's made with cashmere, Cardi cashmere. I make a little hole in here to make it more like relaxed, but you can make the hole, and it's more for boys and girls, I think. I make it in 2 colors, actually. I don't know if you're going to like this color better. I'm just like a crazy pink person.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I don't have all of the sweaters here because somebody else is doing a little video with it. I'm gonna show you one that I really like because it's different. This is called Claudita.
That's so beautiful.
And this is different because we did a little bit embroidery on it. And the embroidery in this one wasn't done by me. My friend Midori, who is she teach Japanese embroidery. She's from Japan and she worked in my store. She did the embroidery for me. I told her what I want and then she did this. I really like the detail in the back.
It's very sweet, yeah.
Yeah, so it's again, I think I have show you the girly stuff. Maybe I show you something that is a little bit less girly. I have this sweater called Panda. Then you can wear it in the front or you can do it a cardigan. It's super simple, but I like it because I put package on. Just for the look of it, I think.
Right.
And I make it in a cardigan and I make it in a pullover. I don't have the pullover here, but this one is easy to make and it's very pragmatic. I mean, you can never go wrong with the stripes. And again, you get the pattern for the cardigan and for the pullover.
Yeah, and this is easy, like easily can be for boy or girl. Like
yes, that's what yes, I was like. Yeah. I have one for boys and girls here too. I don't remember the name of this one, but it's easy. It's just like a broken reed there, and it's very easy knitting and it's good for boys and girls. It's just texture and easy, and this one I tend to like yards and they're no super wash.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for the children stuff, some of them they've been done with super wash because I think it's more pragmatic for some people.
Right.
But yeah, so that's it with this. I show you something tiny. That is the gloves.
Okay, now you want me to have the grandchildren. You just turn like I have the same exact feeling. I'm like, okay, time to have grandchildren.
And we made these little lands, my friend Midori. So all over the books, you're going to have photos of these little lands that my friend Midori make for the book.
And so beautiful.
They're very cute, eh? They're felted. So I'm so happy with the
they're adorable.
The little toys and the children were playing in the book. There were these ones. They were made by us. They were made by Midori. And what else I can show you? This one is very well liked by people, and it's done by one of my favorite yarns, Harrisfield.
It's beautiful.
It's called the Daylight, the yarn. It's very nice, very squishy, very smell like wool. And
I would totally wear that.
Yes, you know what? This one is the one. This one we're gonna make it into adult, because a lot of people say what you say. I would totally wear that one. I don't have any color ones here. I wish to show you the blanket. I have a blanket called Dear Dear, but I don't know where it is. So this is the last I'm gonna show you, just because this is a little different color. This is called. This I have it for adults, and it's called Together Apart. And it's called Together Apart because I did it during the pandemic, and we have to be together by apart, and these things they never meet, so they're together but they're separate. So yeah, this is some of the sweaters in the book.
I loved everything you showed me. It's like really beautiful collection.
Well, we can make some for you, because I think between the ones that I show you there, two they have the adult version, Lanita and Wit. And Together Apart we have that one for adults.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, tell me your dream for this book. Like, what's your dream and ambition for this book? What do you hope?
I really hope that people make things that they're going to last. Then with the things that they make memories. I think all the time you do something for somebody, you put big part of yourself on it. Each stitch is creating memories from you, for the person making it. And then this book is gonna go to somebody else who wanna wear it, and it's gonna have memories with it. It's gonna create memories during he's wearing it or she's wearing it. And then that's where they make it pass on to somebody else. I mean, for me, that's the idea. And it's going to be a book that is especially for children, because children, they're a big part of our memories. You know, like we plan when they're gonna be here. We make things for them because we're gonna have them, and we cover them with the things we make. And these things that we cover them with, they're made with love. It's like a big hug of love. So my big hope for the book is that people make things and there can be wear and rewear. I try to go very I'm fashionable. I love fashion, but I did try to go in the book with things that they look fashionable, but that they look classy too. Classic. Then they can be wear and make again. So that's my best hope for the book.
Well, you mentioned that you enjoy, one of the things you enjoy about the store is that sense of community. And I've heard Little Bird told me that you're planning to do a knit along for when this book is coming out. Tell me about that.
Yeah, you know what? I look everywhere in my whole mess here for the book, for the sweater. It's called Cathedral, and it's my favorite sweater. Like, I mean, you always make things and you always get something that is your favorite thing. That sweater, Cathedral, I absolutely like it. It's my favorite sweater for myself, and we make it for children. So we thought for Mother's Day, we're going to announce a knit along for the moms and for the children, for the ones who have children, for the ones who don't have, they have themselves. So we're going to have a knit along with this sweater called Cathedral. And we're going to announce it there. Nobody knows yet. We're going to announce it the 13th, May the 13th, the day of the book. The day that we're having a party in the store for the book. Right. And so we were going to announce it that day. Then we're going to have this knit along.
That sounds so fun. I would really love to participate in that.
Thank you. Let me know. We will send you all the info. And
okay, that sounds lovely. Thank you so very much. That would be amazing. So I can knit it and wear your favorite pattern. That would be so much fun.
Oh, we should meet and wear it together.
That sounds like a good plan to me. I would love that. Well, thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you for being a guest of my channel. Thank you for sharing your story with me. And I can't wait to see that book of yours.
Thanks, Aline. Thanks for letting me speak, and keep going with your channel. I really like it.
Thank you.